purpose of the relationship between a rabbi and a student, a rabbi and a congregation, is in order to grow strong together and help each other get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zera Shimshon analyzes the timing, specific timing of the construction and the putting together, the assembly of the Mishkan. He quotes the Midrash in Yalkut Shimoni, that says Rabbi Haninat teaches that on the 25th of Kislev was the day the construction of the Mishkan was completed. And it was not assembled then, it was assembled later on the 1st of Nisan. The Midrash makes a whole to-do about it. And the Midrash says, you know why the 1st of Nisan? Because none other than Isaac, Yitzhak Avinu, was born on the 1st of Nisan, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and that was the day that the Mishkan, the tabernacle, was assembled. To this, the Zera Shimshon says, 1 second, something makes no sense. Why is the Midrash mentioning the 25th of Kislev? Is the 25th of Kislev a special day? He asks. And, okay, if it's a special day, why wait? If that was the day everything was finished to be built and ready for assembly, why was assembly postponed till the 1st of the month of Nisan? Isaac's birthday? What does Isaac have to do with the Mishkan, he asks. He says, either way, this Midrash makes no sense. So listen to what he answers. He quotes Rabbeinu Behaye. Rabbeinu Behaye is one of the Spanish commentaries on our Torah. He was born in 1255. He is considered to be of the Rishonim, the medieval scholars. Rabbeinu Behaye, he tells us that the number 72 is a very special number. There's a very special name of God, which is called the 72-letter name of God. By the way, this was the name, the 72 letters, and obviously from the Hebrew alphabet, put in a specific order, is one of God's most powerful names. Jesus actually stole from the breastplate of the Kohen HaGadol. I'll explain how. And he burnt those letters in that order on his arm, and through reading that name of God, he was able to perform miracles, such as walking on water, reviving the dead, and all those other tales that we're told about. This is sourced from the Talmud. This is sourced from the Chachamim. Now, where did he steal it from? The breastplate of the Kohen Gadol actually had a flap. And in the fold of the flap was this 72-letter name, which was obviously something not public to many, if any at all. Yet he broke in and he stole that. Regardless, 72-letter name of God, we find a very specific and important number being 72. He says that the building and the operation of this tabernacle actually mirrors the creation of the world. And one example of how it does so is again through the number 72. The world was created in 6 days. Now, for argument's sake, this is how the Zera Shimshon interprets it. Let's say there was already day and night for each of the days, amassing 12 hours a day of creation. If you do 12 times 6, you have 72. If you look at the breastplate of the Kohen HaGadol, there's actually 12 different stones alluding to each of the tribes, and there are 6 letters that were engraved on each stone. You're going to ask me, Rabbi, how does that make sense? Go to the beginning. Reuven. Reuven is how many letters? 5 letters. Resh, Aleph, Vav, Bet, Nun. That's 5 letters. Shimon, 5 letters. Levi, 3 letters. It's not 6 per. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get 6 times 12. Again, is 72. So, the Me'am Loez, amongst others, explain how not only were the letters of the tribes inscribed and carved on the stones, actually Avraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, and the words Shiftei Yishurun were all inscribed also on the breastplate of the Kohen Hagadol. And it comes out, if you take all those letters, you will have exactly 6 letters per stone. I'll show you. If you take Reuven, Aleph for Avraham. Shimon, you need another letter to get 6, so put the bet for Av, and then here you have Raham. Do you see that? Yehuda is 6 letters, so take an extra Yud for Yitzhak. Issachar, 5 letters, you need an extra letter. Shin, I can't do that. Tzadi, for Yitzhak, and then the Het, and then the Kuf, and then the Yaakov. I did it in different colors so we're able to see. This is how the stones of the Kohen Gadol were actually etched in. And if you count up all these letters, you get exactly, again, 6 times 12, 72. When it comes to the construction of the Mishkan, let's make a calculation how long it actually took them. Moses comes down, great guess, 72, but let's calculate it. Moses comes down on the 10th of Tishrei, Yom Kippur, with the second luchot, the second tablets. That leaves us 20 days left of the month of Tishrei, 29 days of the month of Heshvan, so we're at 49. And now the next month, Kislev, another 25 days. What's the math? 74. 74 minus 2 days it took for the fundraising and collection of the Mishkan. It was actually 72 days that the construction of the Mishkan took place. So why does the Midrash, now the Zera Shimshon explain, why does the Midrash tell us the 25th of Kislev was the day it was finished? 25th of Kislev, something important? Oh yes, it's important. Because that's to tell you when the Mishkan actually was finished its construction. 72 days, corresponding to 72 hours of the creation of the world, corresponding to the 72 letters of God's name, corresponding to the 72 letters on the Kohen HaGadol's breastplate, all of the letters that were etched in, this magical number of 72. Now obviously, the 25th of Kislev is the onset of Chanukah, the miracle of Chanukah, which happened many, many years later, and there's a connection over there. The Zera Shimshon does not go into that now. We'll proceed. So that answers us the 25th of Kislev. So why, if on the 25th of Kislev, do we postpone just over 3 months until the assembly of the Mishkan? Do it right away. We have a concept in our Talmud, Zrizin Maktimin La Mitzvot. When you have a mitzvah, do it quick. Do it right away. Don't wait. When there's a Brit Milah, should do it early in the morning. Should do it right away, right after Shacharit. Sometimes, if need be, because family, people coming in town to do the middle of the day, the afternoon, that's all not ideal. Ideal is to do it right in the morning. That's why we do it first thing in the morning. Talit, tefillin, prayers. We do it right away in the morning. Anytime we have a mitzvah, we do it right away. So why didn't they assemble this Mishkan right away? Why did they wait just over 3 months? Answers the Zera Shimshon with a Talmud. Talmud tells us of a conversation that God had with our forefathers. God comes to the forefathers and says, what should we do when your descendants will sin? Ironically, Abraham and Jacob come forth and they say, if the Jewish people have the audacity to sin, wipe them out. Finished. Isaac comes and says, God, display your mercy and give them a chance. Destroy the sticks and stones. of your tabernacle and of your temple, and do not destroy the Jewish people. Very ironic, because Abraham was chesed. He stood for loving kindness, yet here he was not. And Jacob stands for truth, emet. And here he said it was too true, he could not. Isaac, who stood for judgment, midat hadin, he came out and he was all merciful. God said, you're right. Let's go with your plan. So much so that we're going to go with your plan, we're going to wait till the day you were born to erect and assemble the Mishkan. And that's why, from the 25th of Kislev, the Jewish people waited till Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the day Isaac was born, to put it together. There's many lessons we could take out from this. And sometimes in life, all good things have a time and place. And sometimes things happen quickly and right away. And sometimes we need to be patient and wait for things. In this scenario, whether the Jewish people knew at that time or not, they were very anxious to build this Mishkan. They just spent almost 3 months putting all of their time and money and efforts into building. Yet now they were told to wait. There's always a good reason. Sometimes we know, most often we don't. A good way to give ourselves hope in life sometimes is to look in retrospect. Things that happened many years ago. A couple years ago, decades ago, to each their own. Look back and say, wow, it couldn't have happened any better. You were waiting for that job. You were waiting for that bride, for that groom. You were waiting to have a child. You were waiting to buy a house. You were waiting to move. You were waiting for something. And in the interim, and in the midst of all of that tumult, you're waiting and you're saying, I'm anxious. I have no patience. Rightfully so sometimes. But in retrospect, look back and say, it couldn't have been better. Because then you would not have met the person you're spending the rest of your life with. You would not have that perfect child God wanted for you to have. You do not have that job. You don't have that house. You don't have that place that you live. All of those things are specifically detailed and planned for you by God. In the midst, we have to hold on strong and resort to our faith and our belief in God that everything's for the best. But there's a part in us that is feeling, I'm missing something. I'm impatient. That's human nature. We need to try to override that as much as possible with the faith and belief that we have in our God. But one thing to strengthen that sometimes when we're having that struggle, right now I'm struggling with something, look back and say, I wouldn't have wanted it to happen any different. And the same way as back then, God orchestrated it for happening to exactly at its proper time, so too now, this waiting is for the good. This waiting is for my good. It's for my benefit. The Jewish people had to wait a little more than 3 months to assemble that Mishkan. But it was for a good cause. It was to commemorate and show honor to Yitzhak Avinu, who stood up for the Jewish people and who his plan was the plan God went with. That eventually when the Jewish people sinned, God destroyed the sticks and stones and not the Jewish people. We are an everlasting nation. Our forefathers blessed us so. God keeps on blessing us so. We have to live with that faith. Live with that belief. Live in the now, but learn from the past. Don't live in the past. Live in the now. Sometimes the now is hard. The past proves to us, more often than not, that the patience and the waiting is all in our benefit and our merit. May the words of the Zera Shimshon give us merit. To all of our children who are waiting that special someone, special somebody to get married, let all this waiting not go in vain, chas v'shalom. Let all this prayers go towards bringing them together, finding their zivug, their proper shidduch, and we're going to have a lot of weddings, a lot of smachot this year, B'ezrat Hashem.